Here is my tutorial for the floral landscape painting. The sketch is what I'm showing on the screen right now. The foreground is mainly flowers and leaves, and the background I have a depiction of a sun. I would say depiction because I just use color to show that there is a sun that's actually not clearly visible. And then in the front there is a temple. Below the temple there are mountain ridges and a bridge. So I zoom into the painting now so that you can see the sketch well. If you need the sketch for the tutorial, then you can comment me in the comment section below and I can share the sketch tutorial with you. The colors that I used for this painting is mainly yellow and greens, and I use colors from brand Schminke and Winsor and Newton. But you can use actually any color you have in your palette, which is green and yellow. Importantly, as you see in this pattern or color palette that I already mixed and I have it handy, I am not going to use green as such color from my painting palette, because green as such from painting palette gives a look of very artificial green, whereas I'm going to create some natural green using the blue and the yellow combination. The three brushes that I use for this painting, one is for like a big wash, so I have a very big this Escoda painting brush that holds a lot of water. Then I have a long brush that could give me the shape of branches and leaves, and then I have a small brush for really small leaves, or if you want to give a form factor to the leaves, then I use a small brush. The first I'll do is I will wash my whole painting, absolutely whole painting with plain water, so no color at this particular point. I ensure that I have a big container of water. It's watercolor. The main ingredient of a watercolor painting is water, so you need to have a really big container, not a small glass cup. Do not use them. Once I do a complete wash of the painting, I can have a look from the side and see if some area of it is kept dry, which is important that you don't have any dry area before you start putting colors to your painting. I start with the yellow shade of the painting, as I said, to give a look that there is sun in the background, so I need to have some yellow oranges. So any yellow you have, ochre and raw sienna are my favorite yellow shades. I use them. I don't use lemon yellow or so. Lemon yellow for me is too acidic. It gives greenish effect, and that I don't want it in the painting as of now. I start with this palette of yellow. Then, as I said, I'm going to make my greens with using blue, and for darkening area I will even use plain blue. So I mix blue and yellow for the leaves, and now I'm going to come with a lot of greens, different shade of greens. When you mix a let's say ultramarine blue, you get a different green than when you mix a cobalt blue. So you need to have different shades of blue with you, different shades of green with you to get this feeling of variation in your painting. Otherwise it's pretty boring. Wherever I have leaves, mostly in my foreground, I'm going to put the green color now. It is important at this point to ensure that you can keep the whiteness of the paper. As many of you know, there is no white color in watercolor. There is of course white in gouache, but that's not watercolor. For having white in your painting is you have to very deliberately plan your painting and leave those areas of papers white. That means do not put any colors on that area, so that it gives the effect of lightness and whiteness in the painting. I'm going to put darker colors but a shade of a green, yellow green at this point wherever I have leaves. I do not have to be very precise in where I have to have leaves right now, because this first wash of the painting, after this first wash is dried, the painting looks really it is not going to have major impact on the last of your sketches. or the last output of your painting. So at this point, give the first wash. Wherever you have leaves, however, as you sketch, you see wherever you have leaves, you put a lot of a green color, so greenish shade, not the yellowish shade, and even darker tones of greens. If you have areas where you have leaf form factor, then at this point you can also make those areas of leaves using the green. Now the areas where I am going to have flowers, and as my plan is to make flowers with green with yellow color, the contrasting to green, I'm going to use a lot of yellow ochre, or you can use a raw sienna, as I said, or burnt sienna mixture of, to make these yellow shades, yellow flowers quite apparent. And that's what I am going to do now. So I'm going to fill all the flower areas with yellow, green areas, leaves area with green or a shade of blue. The leaves form factor that you have to make, you can also put colors there already in the first wash. And not all the leaves are going to be green in color. There are leaves, they are brown, there are leaves that are old, and those will have brownish tone more than the greenish tone. These area, so you need to mix this green and the brown in your painting so that it doesn't look very monotonous. That would be the first wash mostly. Another point is that I would like my top of the painting to be darker than the bottom of the painting. To make the darker, I will not go with a very different variations of colors, but rather I'll stick to my palette, and I used cobalt blue for making the green, so I will use cobalt blue or ultramarine blue for darkening on the top face. It's also important, later you will realize in my tutorial that I use something called lifting colors, which is pretty normal technique used in watercolor painting. The darker you have the background, the better is the effect there. So my top portion is going to be a darker color of cool nature, so that's blue, and always the bottom area will be lighter but will have a warmth, and warmth you can always bring with a little bit of rose madder, so not a very dark red, but you can use rose madder. Rose madder I feel is a very good color, very light shade but very good color for such warmth, and it mixes with the green and the blue very well, so it doesn't look always red, but it looks like grayish red, which is a kind of a beautiful color. It's important when your watercolor starts drying that you put even more water. Otherwise, if the color is dried before it got mixed on the paper, then you will have a cauliflower effect. So you will have real strong hard boundaries, and you do not want that boundaries on your paper. So please ensure you lot of water, you remove all the boundaries by giving water to the colors. As I said, I will be always in between using this technique of lift off, which will not be a lot visible here because I'm just lifting off after first wash of the colors, but later it will be useful. But still here, whatever I do, whatever lift off I do will have an impact. So I come with fresh water, I make a leaf or a small suggestion of flowers, and I come with a toque, so I come with a paper, kitchen towel, and just pick those colors. To keep my flowers bright, because I'm going to put lot of colors in the front area with the greens and the blue. I still want my flowers to shine out. For doing that, it's important to mask those areas. I use a blue colored mask here. There are different kind of mask available, white mask, but it's just visible better with a blue mask on a white paper, and that's why I use this pen marker. And pen marker is also useful when you have such small details in your painting. If you want more description about what kind of masking marker I use, then you can write me in the comments. I can give you the details on that. And so I mark all my flowers with this small pen. almost in all the painting. I also mark, apart from the flowers, some leaves, the leaves that I want to highlight in my final painting. I can mark those. I can add some fruits, I can add some seeds at this point. So this is really I would say artistic license I have, because it's my painting, my creation, so I can add what I think would make me happy with this painting. One important tip when you're doing with watercolor is watercolor paintings needs a lot of patience. So for the second layer of painting, when you start, you have to ensure your first layer of the painting and your masking is really completely dried. Otherwise you're going to spoil your painting, the mask will not come out properly, and it will become a very dirty work than a neat and a beautiful floral work. So please have patience before you go to the next phase. Now my flowers are yellow, so I will keep my palette exactly the same. I'll just come with a higher strength of color. So if I've used ochre, I just come with a higher ochre strength here. I use yellows here to highlight my flowers. What happens when you highlight around the areas where you have masked, then your masked area will even look brighter, and that's the look I want to achieve in my final painting. So you're going to come with lighter shades of yellow, even darker shades of yellow, some portions, so that you have a variation of yellow, and your flowers are going to look really popped out in your final stage of the painting. The description about what the color and the color combination I have used, I have made a kind of a cheat sheet that I will discuss in later part of my painting. So just stay there. Again, ensuring that no cauliflowers are formed, I use water wherever I see the boundary is being formed. Otherwise, by using different colors, greens, right now I'm using the yellow shades, the brown shades. I will come with even greens and blues, so that I highlight these flowers really strongly. So the more stronger the background colors are, the lighter your flowers are going to look. At this point also, you must not forget that there are points of the painting where you do not want to have any colors. You do not put their colors, so that will give a look of the lights peeping out from the background. So do not put your colors everywhere. Come and touch the colors on your paper where the colors should be there, where you have leaves and where you have leaves. You can also at this point come with green colors of the leaves and make more forms even more stronger. The form has to be really stronger on the part which is lighter, because there your leaves will be visible. On the top part, actually the leaves are not very much visible, so you can just give an idea of the leaf, but the bottom point where it's completely white, or the reddish shade of the rose madder, you need to come with this strong form factor of a leaf. More greens, more blues. Even if you come with blue at this point, we have so much yellow in the background that it is going to look greenish. Ensuring my top part of the painting is darker than my bottom, I add more colors, more blue, more greens on the top part of the painting, so that it really gives the depth and perception in my painting. Important is, any time you come with a stronger color, don't color the same area all together. The areas that are covered with lighter colors, you leave it, you just drop little bit of the darker color, so you can see your earlier lighter color layers also beneath these darker layers. You have to do the foreground of the painting before you move towards the temple and the architectural and the landscape in the background. So finish your front, both sides or one side, and then you come to the point of your temples. Now in the background I have some architectural elements. For example, there is a temple, there is a bridge. These are man-made structures. It is important for man-made structure that the form factor is there. Therefore, I suggest please use your sketching skills and ensure and plan where you want to have temple, how many floors of the temple you want to have, where you want to have the bridge. You cannot do a loose painting there. It's an architectural unit and you need to show it clearly that these things exist there. While doing watercolor painting, it's often that you lose the pencil mark. So I always suggest when you see or think that you will lose the pencil mark, come with a pencil and darken those areas. Because if they are gone wrong, if the perception is gone wrong, the painting is just going to look odd. Even if this is a lewd landscape, floral watercolor painting, you need to have some areas quite precisely there where good sketching can help you. I also have a mountain in the front of this temple, and those colors I have also shown. So there's 2 layers of mountains there. I'm going to later use a flat brush for the mountains because such strong mountainous curves are very good with the flat brush rather than using round brushes. The temple, it's very far. Still, you will have an impression that there are different floors in this temple. There are balconies, there could be some people standing, there could be bushes and trees in front of the trees. So they are not going to look very clearly from this far. However, it is important that you give an indication that these things are there, and that's again where your sketching skills are going to help really well. So ensure you have those architectural elements even if it is further away. So I'll come with a flat brush here to make the mountain ridges, giving it a strong look here. Now the mountain is only visible partially. So one side you will see the ridges, however the mountain doesn't end there. There are mountains that's going further behind. However, that's not the aim of this painting to show. Therefore, use your water to blend the colors of the mountains in the background so that you do not have a hard edges that the mountain is ending. So wherever you do not want hard edges, use water, lot of water, and just mix it or blend it in the background. In watercolor painting, you don't have blending techniques like oil painting or acrylic painting. Their blending is different. Here there is no color to color blending. However, you mix your colors before you put it on your paper. When you think you don't want this color to be that strong, you use water. I really take time here to finish my temple because of again the form factor architecture unit. It must not look wrong. You have to finish your landscape, which is beside in background, before you do more work on your flowers in the foreground. Therefore, whatever we will do in this step, that will remain. I'm not going to touch the temple again in my next phase. So this will be your final. So decide what you want to do at this point here, and then don't touch the background, otherwise it will be messy. I lost here my bridges lines, so I'm going to again put these bridges lines with my pencil, darken it. As I said, it's important that I make this structural element really strong form. So before I come with colors, I need to darken them or plan my painting. I also have certain bushes and indication that I have some mountains in the front of these bridges, but that I can come always with later with some colors and give that indication. Whenever I'm seeing that I'm getting cauliflower or boundaries that I don't want, that is not a part of the structural unit but bushes and trees, then I just come with plain water. I blend it in the background before it dries. If it dries, it's gone, it's finished. Yeah, you don't have to do anything then in the painting. Come with this another kind of rocky structures. They don't have to be precisely, I did not had them in the initial sketch actually, but this is just an indication that of course mountainous regions are not only one side, they are both sides, and I give an indication, there are mountains and steps and hills on the other side of the bridges as well. But that's it, nothing more than that, just an indication. And I'm going to mix those the other side where I do not want that form factor to be shown with water, so that it blends in the background. It's putting more colors. Take water, blend in the background. Ensure that you don't lose your whiteness of the paper, please. So if you feel that your whiteness of paper is lost, dab it with water, those areas. Come with a kitchen towel or tissue paper and try to pick those areas, make it look brighter. This is where the quality of paper that I use comes very handy. If I use a bad quality of paper at this time, it is going to tear because I use so much water in this painting. You need to use really good quality of paper. Just giving more idea of the rocks and hills that are in the background. I am not going to use any different color. They are just combination of the blue, the yellows, and some browns that I have in my palette. These are all the blues I have, shades. I always have my palette divided into blue, greens, reds, and my next palette I have browns and yellows. Yeah, so whichever greens and blues you have, you use this for this painting. But you want to, if you want to have a precise colors that I have used in my painting, you can go for the colors that I have used. I can give you more details if you want any particular color, but right now I'm just, for me, preparing how it is going to look. So whenever I start a painting and I don't have a clear idea of how my colors are going to finally look when mixed, because I do not use single color, I always mix my colors with each other. I use a white paper of similar quality like the paper on which I'm painting. Paper matters a lot. In watercolor, I put all my palettes together on this paper, and then I mix those colors with one I intend to, and I see how does it actually look when it's mixed together. Yeah, I keep this, and this is not like I finish this painting and I'm going to throw this paper away. This is always going to be helpful for me whenever I come with the next painting where I have the same color schemes. So whichever green you have, you really don't have to take the green that I have taken in this painting. Whichever green you have, please go ahead and use that greens to finish your painting. And I would recommend to do this exercise for every painting that you plan. This is really helpful to understand how mixing of colors, if they mix well, there are colors that mix with each other but they sediment, they separate out on the paper. They're not very good color to mix together, but this activity will help you to do so. Here I show, once I have all my colors listed on my palette, then I am going to cross out the colors that I don't think can be a part of the painting. That are way artificial look, that could be in man-made things but not in nature, and not in my flowers or in my foreground. Those colors I strike out, like 514, 526 I striked out. Then I'm going to choose the colors which I think it'd be perfect for this painting. At this point you can choose 1, 2 or 3 maximum colors. Don't choose that number of colors, otherwise it's just complex to handle, and 3 variations are enough for eyes. So I choose 502, then 500, I think it's a 72, and 519. I mix them with ultramarine blue. As I said, I don't use a plain color like green directly. I always use ultramarine blue or cobalt blue to give it a cooler look, and if I need a warmer tone I can add burnt sienna, raw sienna, those kind of colors. I really like adding burnt sienna, that gives a very wild greenish natural green that is available, that you find in nature. So I make these 3 colors of warm and 3 colors of cool ready for my next phase of the painting, that is going to give basically detail. So I'm going to do the same thing ahead in my rest of the painting, giving looks to the leaves using these 3 colors, and then yellow with the flowers. I'll give you detail about yellow like I have done here with the leaves in the later part of the video. I do make a palette also ready here with my blues. The blue can help me to strengthen the foreground, and it is not going to look very blue at the end, but kind of greenish blue. So I love my 3 blue. It's like turquoise blue. All the colors are variation of turquoise blue, which itself has some green color element into it. So I use 3 of my turquoise blue, and I just keep ready in case I need a darker foreground in the top. Then I'm going to use these colors for that effect. The same thing I would do with the yellow for my flowers. Yellow is tricky. Because lemon yellow I do not like, and I don't think so flowers are exactly lemon yellow. They have shades of oranges in them. You can create oranges in yellow by adding little bit of brown. However, I had some oranges with me, so I used some of the oranges, and I always add a little bit of yellow because that's what my first second wash was. And then I again completely discard some colors, and or I finalize, okay, these 3 colors I think I can work with. Yeah, so that's what I do. Most of my time in the painting actually goes in this selection of colors. As I said, I'm going to show how I lift off colors. So I have a dark area. I come with my brush in this area. I just put water, plain water, no color. I make the shape of leaves, or I make a shape of flowers, or I make a shape of fruits. Yeah, and then I come with a kitchen towel, tissue paper. I lift it, and you see that there is this impression of leaves. Now, this is very beautiful, I would say, in watercolor. This effect gives you a look of that there was a leaf, there is a leaf in the foreground, in the background, but not clearly visible as the one in the down. Yeah. This lift off technique is used in many ways to give layering in the watercolor painting, and absolutely a must learn for anyone who is starting with watercolor. And then, as I said, the palette that I have used, I remove all my masking tips from my painting, and I am going to come with my yellow on my removed masking tapes area of the flowers, come with my greens for the area where I have leaves, and I finish my painting. Yeah, it looks like this, the final painting. I hope you learned something in this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to write below. Yeah, thank you very much.